Welcome back to Viridian County, everybody. I'm your host, Red Kool-Aid. On our last episode, we started on our big downtown, our main downtown build. This episode, we need to do some docks, we need to do some industrial, and we need to do a little bit of tourism in some blank spots. It's been raining a lot lately in Viridian County. You can see our night shot, man. Our downtown is just looking very magical. You can see all the stuff we've built. I haven't really showed a view like this the whole series, but you can kind of see we have been building up. Ravens Reach is on the other side of that mountain. St. James is over there across the river where that bridge is. We're building up, man. It's looking spiffy. Feeling it. Anyway, today's build, we need to start on some tourism stuff. I left this spot blank on purpose. It wasn't an accident. I definitely knew what I wanted to do with it when we built up the downtown. I'm gonna start with a metro station right here on the corner. This little New York urban metro station asset. I love it because it's like open and you can see people coming out of both sides, and it's perfect for a corner. So let's go ahead and link up our little metro lines. As you can see, there's not really much distance in between our metro lines, and that's because there's actually not much. The city's not that big, and it's not gonna be that big. So we're just gonna look at the loopiness. You see these crazy metro lines? I'm gonna fix all that, I just gotta get a feel for where the neighborhoods are and where all the stops are. So I want to go ahead and add in this Apollo Theater asset. It's so iconic in the community. We gotta have that. It's Majestic Theater. We're gonna lay this down, and that's basically what this district is. It's just kind of a theater, tourism, commercial district. This is where people would take a train into our town or get a bus into our town for these kind of things. Not a skate park. Not a skate park paradox. Do you hear me? Not a basketball court. People don't travel from out of town to go to your basketball court or sit at a bench. I need to dial that back. Anyway, you can see us laying out some of our King Leno assets. Also, I lay out this Zany's Comedy Club right here, but I actually found a way better asset that I like. I think it's the slanty front. It's just dope to me. The rest of this is actually me just laying down an Islington House asset. Shout out Islington, by the way. That's the borough of London I lived in, North Side, baby. And I need to lay down a few working industrial assets around the, let's take advantage of the post office we got. Y'all hang out while I do a little bit of detailing. Alright, I'm going to use my node controller to clip this street off. I do not want to connect to the main avenue. Let's say maybe it did back in the day, but they shut that down. We're going to put some bollards right there. It's going to be like more like an entrance to the area. I end up changing these streets a lot. These aren't the ones I don't like how it's gray in the middle like that. I don't like how it transitions. So don't get used to those streets. But do get used to these decals. I do like these decals. Some new joints I found on the workshop I've been kind of using. Gonna kind of lay some of these out. The street's a bit wonky, but we're gonna work around it. Don't worry about it. And this this area right here, the assets will be more like office space, little bit of commercial, nothing too heavy. I really want to keep the main bulk of the commercial in that little quad block area back there. But we're just going to put some little stuff to create kind of a buffer between the park. I'm thinking just like what would be between this and a train station. You know, people definitely wouldn't live there. Got to put like just some little knick-knack office space kind of stuff. Like I said, it's been raining a lot. I had to leave this footage in. I I didn't want to re-record it or do any of that. So it'll be raining in this episode. This asset right here is actually, I thought it was a library, but I think it actually functions as some kind of university asset. So we're going to PO that, use this as deco, and I'm going to stick a little tiny library asset inside of it. Because I did want a library right here, but this isn't a real library. It's low-key false advertising, but we ain't gonna say nothing about it. We just gonna put our own little tiny library asset inside of it. And these couple of little office buildings, we just need to bridge this space in. It was bothering me that I left this space exposed the last episode, but I didn't really know how big the tourism district was gonna be. It ended up being just a couple of streets, so we're good. We're gonna slide this back. And, of course, surface paint this nonsense out of the way. Also, I'm going to put a couple of these. I just saw these on the Asset Workshop. They're like some New York tenement type housing assets. And I feel like maybe we're far away enough from the noise. This one might be okay. We'll throw this little Empire steel joint right here at the kind of entrance of this back block, and that's it. I wanted to speak on this mural. Shout out Elvis. I got no problem with you really. But as a Memphis asset, there's definitely a better representative we can use.
Keep it real with your dog no matter what.
Preach. Same bitch decline, she love you, she'll set you up. Preach.
Stop it right there, sir. Don't play one more note of that song. They would demonetize me. There was a little blank space right here, and I had this tattoo shop asset that I downloaded, but it looked kind of terrible. I would never get none of my ink done. I'm tatted up. I'm Black Boy Tatted. I would never get nothing done at that. I think it's Gate City Tattoo. I would definitely go to Dark City Tattoo. We're going to detail some of this up. Y'all hang out. that pretty much does it for the detailing on that. I wanted to break up the detailing so it's not so much at the end. Anyway, moving on to the meat and taters. So while we're all here, you saw it in the thumbnail, we're going to work with these Ronix docks. First thing we got to do is clear a little spot out, and we have to really be conscious of the amount of units that you use. You have to use even numbers to make the copying of these dock assets mathematically correct. This is the part that I downloaded these before and I just said, yo, I can't use this. This is too much thinking. This is too much math. I don't care. But they actually do look really nice. So I'm going to lay out I'm going to lay out a 44 unit road. I'm kind of keeping my spatial awareness up. I know I want to put a cargo harbor on that side. It should technically probably be on that side, but I want stuff going underneath that bridge because we fancy. And I also wanted to use this pier asset down here somewhere. So again, I'm just making sure that we have the clearance, making sure that it's not going to have to be right at the intersection where the asset gets dropped. I'm going to be able to tuck it in. I'm probably going to put it on the other side. Anyway, let's shave some of this land back because we don't need all that extra stuff. And let's go ahead and speed up. See, I learned from Raven's Reach, don't do this kind of stuff on pause. Got to let the game play so the water does whatever it's going to do. So let's drag this down because I want you to feel like you're driving down onto the docks. And we're going to jump over to this blank space. I just need a blank space out here so I can build. Now, I had some like convoluted way I was going to explain to do this so everybody can understand and blah, blah, blah. But I quickly figured out I suck at talking. That's why there's a question mark in the thumbnail.
Well, he don't know talking good like me and you.
Basically, make sure that the rows that you lay out are even numbers. Mine is, I think it's 46 or 44. Make sure the little extra roads you lay out are also an even number. This way, when you go to copy the assets, because all you're going to do is lay the assets out once for the dock, and you're going to copy them. You're going to click the snapping on, and everything snaps right into place. But it doesn't work if your roads aren't even. And I even learned the hard way, when you intersect a road like I just did, even those need to be on even numbers. You'll see why later on when I get to actually copying the assets. Next, I'm going to lay out the actual assets, and I lay mine out in the order. First thing I do is I line it up with the road and make sure it is as even. And I mean, you see, that's right there. That is on point. Now, me changing these roads to industrial roads was a huge mistake. I found out later on you can only use certain roads, but it doesn't matter for right now. The rest of what I'm doing does matter. So now that I know that the assets are even and aligned with the road, I'm going to lay them out in order, the order that they're in the UI. And my reasoning behind doing that is I'll be forgetting which asset is which. So if I can look at the UI, I know like, oh, the third one over is it's the intersection, and the one on the bottom on the right, it's the free blah, blah, whatever. It don't matter. Like I said, I have to do it like that because I didn't do too good at the schoolings. So I need all of the help I can get. Here you can see me lifting up all of the assets, and you can actually look underneath the dock pieces now and see what makes them different. Because they do look all the same on the top, but it matters which piece you use, especially when it comes to end pieces, intersection pieces. This way you can see everything. The next important thing, and I've said it a couple times, is before you start copying stuff, toggle on your snapping. Yes, toggle it on. And then all you have to do is copy the corresponding piece. Let's watch. I wanted to speak on the quays that I'm using. In the tutorial, it says you can use any quay, but people always talk about, yo, they're complaining about everything's being flooded. Download what's called the Chatworth's house and use those quays. No complaints. Now that everything's laid out the way we want it, because we toggled on our snapping like we talked about, we're just gonna copy it over here and make sure that it fits. As you can see, the reason why I put those little highway connection roads up there, because I wanted to make sure everything fit. Everything was mathematic. So we drop the copy and we sync it down to the level that we want. Make sure these roads are lining up. Let's zoom in, get that right there. That road connected to that highway, it was always curved. I built it wrong in the first place. So we're gonna compensate for that. Don't worry about it. Now that we got it, we're gonna delete the excess roads that we don't need and just connect the dock network up to the existing network. You can see me sliding this back. This is the road I was talking about. It was always a little curvy, but that's okay because our dock roads are straight. So we're gonna use our node controller to slide that back. Oh, delete the wrong one. Delete that one. And all we have to do now is connect these two roads up. I'm gonna copy a little bit more of this Chatsworth House quay. It's important because, like I said, this is the only quay on the workshop that doesn't have the complaints. You can see in the comments for the Ronix doc, everybody's crying about it, but nobody's reading because dude put it in there. Yo, download Chatsworth House. Download. As soon as I did it, it's a big pack. You have to download like 25 assets, but it's worth it to me to not see those complaints. If you're using a functional city like me. Now, if you're just taking pics and it doesn't really matter, you could use the quays that come with the game, but it matters to me. So I'm going to go ahead and use our elevation tools to drop down this little back lot. I want some of those assets. And look at all the water. Look at all the complaints. This is why we build it first and let the game sim. So we don't have another Raven's Reach shenanigan. Look at all the water. Oh, the water's going back on the highway. That's something I didn't anticipate. I didn't know the water was going to get caught in our sunken. Hey, my man. Whoa. Okay, boy. Silver Surfer. He out of there. Well, good for you, bro. All right. So we're going to draw out a road that is going to be my cargo harbor road, actually. And where I made a mistake is I probably should have just went and added this to the copy and then copied it again, because this actually ends up being not mathematically correct, and I have to do a little compensating and a little non-toggling, which I don't like. It wasn't necessary. I should have done that over. You can see that little gap right there. That's because this road isn't linked up with everything else. Basically, it wasn't built with the rest of the network, so it's gonna be a problem, child. We're gonna have to actually manually turn the snapping off, and drag that over. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it too much because it's just one road. It's all good. Don't worry about it. And yeah, you know, I want to leave that little part. You know what? Why am I even using this vanilla cargo station? Like, yo, that's gonna go. That you won't probably see that for too much longer. Anyway, let's drag over our quays so they kind of line up. I think there's a Chatsworth house underneath there somewhere I need to move. And we're gonna drag the quay from the other side. All these quays are walkable. I don't know how much use they're gonna really get, but I'd rather have them be walkable now, and maybe later on I'll build some stuff for you to walk to. I'm gonna copy some of the assets. These assets just come in the dock pack. They're just little tires and little boat tie-up deals. I don't know, but we're gonna sprinkle them around, make the dock look more realistic. And jumping back to this cargo station platform, again, there's blank cargo stations and stuff. We could just build our own. We don't need vanilla. We don't need the vanilla wafers.
Tune in to 98.5 City Sounds for your Glorilla and Friends tickets. We got Glorilla, Ice Spice, and Krishan Rock at the Apollo this Sunday night.
One thing I did want to mention is the roads. As you saw when we were laying it out, I tried to use those industrial roads, but certain roads just don't work well. The cars sink down. It looks like the tires are in the road. You need to use pavement roads, simple pavement roads. I'm laying out a few industrial assets, and this is the point of using Aronix docks because you can lay assets actually on them. They're functional. They have roads, you put spawn points, everything. And you can see here it's a little bit of flooding going on because we are snatching up the earth from underneath that, even though we can't see it. I'm gonna lay down a couple of these. Might turn one into a fish factory later on down the line. And this giant rusty maintenance joint, yo, look at that. Hey, yo, whoever put the detailing and the texturing on that asset, boy, that is God tier right there. That's definitely gotta go. It looks so under the bridgey, and that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? It's all rusted out. Somebody need to build something new right there, bro. But nah, we keeping it. Let's connect up our little underground line. I definitely wanted to have workers a way to get to work. Speaking of workers, we're going to lay down some of these Brooklyn office kind of assets, industrial office kind of things. Again, where I'm from, places like this don't make products. They might have a podcast studio inside of it, or somebody they might have fish tables and electronic little casino machines, and they serving liquor. Might be illegal.
Now go and get a little nigga a drink.
But you know, those with those, look at this little building right here. Ain't nobody making no products in that. You might fix cars and something like that, or you detail bikes. But it's not a industrial asset where you're gonna have to worry about deliveries, and it's not where I'm from. Not something that size. I'm gonna stick this little warehouse right here on the corner. I'm gonna PO this, and this will be a little fish market maybe down the line. I'll put some detailing into it so I'll remember what it's supposed to be. But yeah, that's, again, I don't want goods coming off of this road. I want goods coming off of the docks. I may even put some fishing assets. Maybe the next episode I'll work on a certain part of the dock that I know I want to have fishing on. Right now, I'm laying out a basketball court asset. Like I said, I really wanted the animations, and I really wanted this under the bridge. You know, this is a hangout spot underneath the bridge, Saturday night. Hanging out, frivolity, revels, all that. I also wanted to put in a skate park. I got so many dope skate park assets. This was real fire, but it just doesn't fit the spot, man. And it doesn't have animation. I need the animation. So I think we're going to have to go with this vanilla joint. That's the whole point, is to have the animation. I will once again rattle my saber at the overwhelming amount of tourists that pour to these two spots. Me putting them next to each other actually isn't that smart. I'm going to be doing some research into how, without downloading a mod, I can just dial it down, man. It does not... How does this have a larger attraction value, entertainment value than a pier? A pier is something I could see people, you know, man, hey, let's go downtown. Basketball court, not at all. Skate park, definitely not. That many people don't skate. Why is there old dudes hobbling around with canes at skate? What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, let's lay out some graffiti under this overpass. I like this weird looking squirrel, hamster, weasel thing. That's dope. We're going to lay out a little bit of signage, some Charlie's Garage action, maybe even a little tiny bit of detailing, no real detailing. I'm going to lay out these warehouses. They will be replaced with their functional DLC counterparts. I just need to kind of mark that space. This warehouse is just going to be deco. Let's get that out of there. Retaining wall activity. Y'all know how we do. Yes, sir. I love these new retaining walls with the fences built on them. Again, I don't know what I'm going to put in these little warehouses. I just know I wanted that color up on the hill, so I had to switch that one out. I don't have the non-DLC version of that white one right now, so I'll change that out off camera. But the ones down there by the cargo harbor, those will be like block warehouses. I'm gonna keep, you know, food stuff and steel products or whatever it is I need. Once we figure out what these assets, the industrial assets need, that's what I'll use for the storage for that. And some fish. You know, we always need some fish storage. Gonna lay out some of these retaining walls because it's a funny little spot right here in the elevation change. Little cargo harbor sign. And switch out that boat for this boat. That battleship is way more bloodfire. Last thing I really wanted to do was this video arcade on the corner. I just felt like that needed to breathe. Oh, and the day I was recording this, I saw these abandoned warehouse assets on the workshop. My God, man. Look at them joints, yo. Whoever did that, yo, triple salute straight out the hood. You went in. So we're pretty much done, guys. It's the Ronix dock. Shout out to Ronix for even taking the time to build something this dope. Our dock area is done. We need to do some detailing.
I'm mad at him, baby. If I sent you out me to a beat, boy, you crazy. Diamond in the rough, you look as good as Elvis back. Yo, I just wanna take you out. Fuck you in your mama house. Overseas, I fly you out. Is he tricking you? She really never. Cause just find it out. Baby, what's up with your mouth? City girl straight from the south. Back home, I'm no president, I'm Obama. I condone the drama. I told down Madonna. You don't need pajamas. Staying the night, girl, you promised it. I hide in the cave like Osama did. I'm throwing them back in the diamond district. You need me like dollars that I owe to you. Yeah, money and me the same, but I just don't fall for you. Yeah, run me your body, I put a range on the road for you. I don't know what you were told, but I ain't mad at you, baby. If I sent you out me to a beat, boy, you crazy. Diamond in the rough, you look as good as Elvis back. I just wanna take you out. Fuck you in your mama house. Overseas, I fly you out. Is it tricking you? She really never. It's just find it out. Baby, what's up with your mouth? City girl straight from the south. Is they mad that you follow me? Is they mad that you ride around in a bitch? Is they mad that you not with them? The same hoes hating me in my DM. Locking it down, locking it down, locking it down. I'm done know you have everything. We still make it lit when there's nothing to do. Every time we step out, niggas look at you. Oh, mad at him, baby. If I sent you out, me to be the boy crazy. Diamond in the rough, you look as good as Elvis back. I just wanna take you love as good as Elvis back. I just wanna take you love as good as Elvis back. I just wanna take you love as good as Elvis back. I ain't mad at him, baby. Mama's pull up looking like Oprah bag. Let's go. Take a pic with them bitches, she fake. She look like a goddess, but she ain't no saint. My bitch bout it, she need her a tank. You know ain't no limit on blue honey. I'm just like a big bag of money, this new money. Yeah, you gon' make the bitch think that you love her. Hold her hair right in front, you be too public. Take the little nigga, bitch, he ain't do nothing. Now this bitch gon' pay, they don't pay. Let's go. She want me to stay, I ain't stay. And I hope that these niggas don't play. Let's go. Bitch looking good as Oprah bank account. I'm the type to take a nigga hoe from him and take her out. Keep the butt, I take the mouth. Let's go. If I sent you out me to be a boy, let's go. Now I'm at the rough, look as good as Elvis back. I just wanna take you out. Fuck you in your mama house. Overseas, I fly you out. Is he tricking you? She really never. Let's just find it out. Baby, what's up with your mouth? City girl straight from the south. I just wanna take you out as good as Elvis back. I just wanna take you out as good as Elvis back. I just wanna take you out as good as Elvis back.
Today's City Mix is brought to you by the Red House.
At the Red House, where black people and white people buy furniture.
And Hispanic people too.
And all people.
just like that, it's raining again, and it's starting to get dark. But I think our dock came along pretty good, yo. Especially the little part with all the kiosks. I like that part. You can see here I did use some of the fish market assets, and I will put some functionality into that, as well as the docks down at the end. Those are gonna be, oh, look at the lights coming on. That looks so sassy. It looks sassy. But yeah, the docks down here will have some fishing. And I forgot we even did our little tourist area right across the highway there, man. Matter of fact, I think we just need to get into some cinematics, and I'm gonna leave that rain on. You can hear the thunder, you can hear all that, man. Leave all that on. Cinematics. I know I'm a little bit behind with this episode, but we're going to keep it right on trucking. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification, tap in with your boy. This is Viridian County, and I'm the Kool-Aid Man. I'll see y'all next time.